Don't you love it when things are both easier and more affordable? Like when the rain washes your car for you. Or like when you save up to 10% by bundling your renters and auto insurance with USAA. Bundle with USAA and start saving. Get a quote today.
Okay. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Somebody say hello. Jeez.
Hello. I feel like mine's a little light, you know?
Oh, you want yours a little louder?
I want to be heard.
Yeah, don't worry. Nobody's in danger of not hearing you.
Ooh, I feel loud.
Let me mansplain it to you.
Thank you. That is such a good lead-in. First, let me just say this is the bonus episode for the Napa Valley Halloween murders, which I have Jenna and Mark here. Jenna did not hear this episode.
But I knew it. We chit-chatted about it because I knew I wasn't going to be recording
That's
it.
right. We did. We absolutely did.
Not that I can fully remember, but it doesn't matter.
No.
I just won't chime in.
Well, and a lot of these questions aren't very episode specific. A couple, but not many.
Is this the one with the would you rather?
Yes, I do have some would you rathers that we will do after we do some of the lookup list questions, which I will say, love when you fill in. But next time you fill in, and I'm looking at you, Mark.
Whoa.
You, or maybe me, need to have a piece of paper like Jenna has to note questions, because I had to go back the other morning and listen to this is a 3-parter, first of all. So we're not even through the whole episode. And today I almost posted an Instagram like slideshow that showed pictures of the roommates and the murderer. Don't say it, because we haven't revealed it yet. That comes out in part 3.
Don't say it.
Oh, is that next week?
Yeah.
I gotta be careful about this then.
Yeah. So I totally forgot that. So I was about to post all these pictures of like the people involved. I was like, oh my God, we're not there yet. It comes out Tuesday. It's a 3-parter.
Whoa, don't.
I'm not going to, you either, but.
I can't guarantee anything. I'm just a scab, you know, not a fill in a scab.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
A scab is like when UPS goes on strike, and
you're a fill-in.
Yeah, or you're either in the union, you don't strike, or you go get a job there, and
because they're on strike.
Yeah, but you'll only have your job until the strike is over, because they'll never accept you after that's done, because they're like, "Hey, get out of here."
You know how
we're trying to do something.
You know how I know that? From Newsies, because they say sometimes the Newsies like, "Oh, he's just a scab." The newspaper boys strike. Wow, we're all over the place tonight.
As always.
So, where was I going with this? So, we have not, this is the bonus for the Napa Valley murders, but we have not finished it. So
Part 1 or part 2?
This is for part 1 and part 2.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't have a bonus last week. So, or maybe we did. I can't keep track. Anywho.
I guess if we slip up, you can just cut it out.
That's true.
That's right.
The murderer is. Sorry, that was a little loud.
So you said something about mansplaining, and I want to let our listeners and Jenna in on this. So Zeka, who people have probably heard us talk about, he's one of our patrons and loyal listeners. And after we did, I remember. So you and me, Mark, must have done a bonus where we talked about AirTags, I think. And
yeah, because we're talking about tracking devices and all
right.
that stuff.
And me and Jenna talked about it as well.
I think about them one. Is that the thing where
the Apple thing? You can stick it in somebody's purse or on their car.
And you see where they are.
Yes.
Yeah,
but
the world's about to get even weirder.
But its intended purpose is not for that. Like at work,
I get that, but people use a lot of things for the non-intended purpose, right?
For nefarious purposes.
Yeah, it's creepy.
So me and Jenna have spoken about this. And then I guess you and me spoke about it on a month or two ago.
You and I,
whatever. And so Zeka wrote in, and he started his message with, AirTags are amazing. And he said, I was in Texas once, set to fly out in 2 days, and I lost my wallet. 1,500 miles from home, no money, no ID. Trying to convince your bank to give you money with no ID and getting on a plane with no ID are challenging, to say the least.
Not happening.
He said, when I got back, I bought a wallet with an AirTag pocket and bought an AirTag. Shortly thereafter, I bought a bunch more, and I keep them in my wallet, my backpack, luggage, water bottles, and a few other things, and I get notified when I leave them behind anywhere. He said AirTags actually aren't GPS. They work off the Find My Phone network, so everyone's phone close to them picks up on them and bounces their location anonymously.
Only the person who has the iPhone and thus the AirTag.
Hold on.
Right.
I can mansplain this.
Don't do it because I'm not done with this message yet.
That was my question. That wasn't a statement.
I believe so.
Because like my AirPods, AirPods, thank you. They are on Find My iPhone essentially, but I don't think like you could.
No,
Right.
I probably could not. So the last paragraph of Zeka's message is, yes, they are used nefariously, but as Mark unknowingly mansplained, your iPhone will let you know if an AirTag you don't own is following you and gives you options to stop reporting its location, but also lets you know so you can find it and report it. He said he doesn't know how it works with Android. And he's right, it does, but I believe there is a setting. I guess I should have looked into this before we recorded, but I believe there's a setting that you have to have on about AirTags, like notify me or something, like in the notification setting in your iPhone.
If an AirTag that you didn't authorize, someone else's AirTag.
Right.
So do I have to have an AirTag?
No.
Okay, so like if I know nothing about AirTags and just happenstance, my notification is the correct way. Mm-hmm. If you have an AirTag in my bag, it might say, hey, girl,
There's
something's happening.
Well, this is...
I believe so.
So
Please mansplain again.
My first experience with the AirTag is at work we get keys for like the U of A or school districts, and a lot of these keys open up doors throughout the school district or whatever. It's a lot. So we have these little clips, the AirTags on there, so if we do lose them... But if I go up there, the AirTag, it's like anybody is in the room. Mm-hmm. If you like, I don't have any notifications that I know of on my personal phone, but my work phone, I signed up for that AirTag, so it's always on there. So it doesn't notify. It only notifies me if I leave it like
behind.
If I leave it in the truck and am in my house, it doesn't notify me. But when I go a certain distance away, it'll say, "Hey, you left your keys behind." But I've noticed as I've had that AirTag in the last week or two, I was driving down the road and it started beeping because you can
wait. You the AirTag itself?
Yeah, because like that's how you find it. Like, where are my keys? So you hit the thing, it beeps off.
But so it was.
But also my personal phone. Every time I get in there, because I don't have the notification, I haven't identified it yet. Every time I get in, it's all this AirTag has been tracking your location, so it shows me all over the map what I've been doing. Oh. But I noticed the other day when I was like in heavy traffic, it went off because someone else in their car saw that AirTag because they're within distance, and they were obviously hitting it and sending because it was going off.
So they could track it?
No, so
when they
I think
sensed your AirTag, what happened?
I believe when AirTags first came out, Apple changed it so that even if it's your AirTag, anybody that's in range of that will identify that there's an AirTag near you. You can't hook up to it, like. You know what I mean? You can't
connect to it.
There's nothing happening, but they can see it.
But yeah, I can see where it tracks at, and you can also hit a thing and says go off.
I don't know. I mean,
I think they did it for security purposes.
I respect,
people were doing it sketchy.
And I understand what Zeke is saying, and I understand what you're saying about your keys. I feel like we are personally tracked, and I lose everything. So I feel like this could be a useful thing for me. However, I feel like I'm already tracked so heavily, and I'm very careful about turning off a lot of my location services and stuff, and I don't even think that actually matters.
Are you?
I am. I do.
Really?
Yes, I regularly check to see if my location's being tracked. Whenever I see that little like navigation arrow up there, I immediately am like, where's that coming from? What is tracking me?
Everything.
And again, I try to be like cognizant of it. I don't think it actually makes a huge difference because I think I'm being tracked no matter what. Well, but I don't think I need another thing.
Well, the thing is, it's the same thing as your phone. If you have your phone on here, they'll always track you, whether you turn it off or not. It's still
right
locating you.
Right. Tracking.
The great thing about an AirTag though is, let's say you're on vacation or something, you had the bag, it would tell you where it is. You could see.
Put it on your passport.
Oh, that's so smart.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
That's a really good idea.
You could track it to potentially like where someone is, called the police.
I bet there's a passport holder that has an AirTag.
What? I don't even know what an AirTag looks like, but even if there's
a little round dot.
Okay, so even if there's not, could it stick on a passport?
Probably, yes.
If you use some like double-sided tape or something.
Yeah,
They're like
which-
super small. They're like a little
Because on my
watch
passport,
battery.
on the back of my actual passport, Michael stuck a big sticker of an astronaut, and I thought, oh, that's going to screw me over.
No.
I don't know. That seems like something they'd say, take that off, but they didn't. So maybe you could stick an AirTag on.
Yeah, that's smart.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe we should take your AirTag from your keys and put it on our passports.
Okay.
For me, I'm not worried about being tracked. Like, where am I going to go?
Yeah, I guess that's a good.
Well,
I
as
guess
long
that's
as
a
you're
good point.
I'm not
No,
worried. As long as
it's
you're not
just-
doing something sketchy, you're fine.
Well, yeah, I'm not doing. Well, I mean, maybe
They're
I
all
am.
Jenna went to the market.
But they
and then
don't
she went
know
to
if I'm doing something
Right.
sketchy because it doesn't say what I'm doing, where I'm going.
Who was they? Who are they?
them.
Big Brother? I don't know. Big Apple? I just
they,
don't
it's
like
them.
it because
I don't
I
either.
can't fully understand it.
Yeah.
Fully. Just like I can't fully understand. I understand the concept of iCloud or how sometimes my iMac connects if I open the iMessages. Sometimes, but I don't like to know what's not happening fully.
Yeah, you don't like to know what's not like a tangible, actual thing that you can
Don't
see.
like it.
Yeah, I get that as well.
Well, I think to me it's super handy because I have a work.
Whoa, that was a wheeze.
Sorry, I'm dying.
Continue.
But I have a
No, we
work- a
understand the
work
purpose of
iPad
yours.
No, it's
I'm on a
purposeful.
job
They wouldn't
site
have
and
made
I
it if
use
it wasn't.
Right, it's purposeful.
I use it for, I'm on the job site, a big job site, and I'm like looking at the prints, and sometimes you set it down and get distracted, and then my phone says, "Hey, you left your iPad behind." I'm like, "Oh, I can go back up there," and I've done it before, and I've walked through the building, and I'm like, "There it is."
No,
Right.
It is.
Otherwise, it's like, where the fuck is it? It's great.
It's like I could put it on a valuable piece of jewelry. I mean, I get
Well,
it's
that's just
bigger
kinda
than this.
stupid.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey.
is it though?
Well, yeah, it's like I put it on my wedding ring.
Okay, I can't, but one day there will be one that
Small
I can
enough
put
to.
on there.
She's
Oh,
right.
for sure.
And this is actually way more valuable than your stupid keys.
Can you imagine
That's
if it had
right.
like an unlimited battery life? You could find
Beautiful.
Michael's wedding ring from
We'd
the
go
ocean.
diving. It wasn't that. It was like $100
Michael
or
lost
200.
his wedding ring?
Yeah, in Rocky Point.
Los Conchas.
Rocky Point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, when we took the canoe out, right?
No. Remember he was
Before.
he was in the beach and you had your wedding ring off too.
I took my-
Yeah, but
Oh,
you
and
had-
then I went right in and
yeah,
took it off.
Mike's like, "Fuck, I lost my wedding
Yeah.
ring," and Jenna looked down. She's like, "Oh shit!" She went and put it in the Airbnb.
Smart.
Yeah. Also,
It's
it's
something
not
you
that
don't,
big a deal.
but it's something you don't think about. Well, yeah, his was cheap. Yours is more expensive. I imagine. you know.
Yes. And also, cheapness aside, I was still a little bummed. And
Yeah.
then Gary told me he lost his wedding ring within the first month of being married too. And I was like,
Aw.
oh, okay, that's fine then.
Maybe it's a good sign.
Yeah.
Well, weren't you
Sweet.
guys married for a while?
No, that had to be a long time ago, right?
Well, we've also been married a long time. Yeah, we had been married maybe 2 years, 3 years.
Okay.
I'm not saying the timeline matches. I'm just saying Gary lost his within the first month.
My dad never wore a wedding ring except for
did
like
ours.
at the ceremony because I was like, "Dad, how come you don't wear it?" And when he was a kid down in Wilcox, he worked at like an ice packing plant and he got like caught on something and almost ripped his finger off. So my dad's like, "I don't wear jewelry no matter what."
Yeah, that makes
Well,
sense.
that's an excuse.
No, but I honestly
kidding.
like I work with doing electrical work and everything. I see guys like rings all the time. Like,
Well, just also take it off while you're at work if you
Yeah.
need to.
oh, for sure. And everything we do with your hands, especially it's conductive metal, especially like gold with electricity. It's the best conductor you can possibly
Meaning
have.
it'll get real hot.
Yeah, well, not just that. If you are dealing with electrical, it's going to transfer to it. So you don't. You definitely. I see guys like they go through the whole procedure of protecting themselves before you do a shutdown, and the one thing they leave on, you have to remind them, take your wedding ring off, bro.
This is foreshadowing.
For what?
He'll never wear a ring.
It's okay. He'll never get married.
I also always talk about that.
Okay.
Also, I could go on, but I won't.
Okay. So wait,
AirTag it.
I want to go on to something that relates to the mansplaining and also to the episode that we just had. But
Finally.
first, because we're talking about cool technology, I need to say one thing or I'm going to forget. I really want this so bad. So put this in your brain for like a future gift. I'm not a big gift person, but I really
Go
want
on.
this.
She figured out the clapper light.
Stop it.
She saw it on an old TV show
I like
commercial.
a clapper.
I do
A
too.
clapper.
Okay. So I was reading in bed the other night, and in bed I read on my phone because the iPad is too bulky. It's uncomfortable to read with an iPad unless I'm like sitting up. So I read with my phone because it's very comfortable. But sometimes it's not comfortable. Like I was like tossing, like, I don't know, and my hands getting tired. I don't know like what to lean it on. And I was like, I wish I could just close my eyes and see my book on the back of my eyelids. Like that'd be great. And obviously that's insane. But
Is it?
well, it is not, because I was like, something in my brain was like, wait, I think you can read a book in VR goggles. And I looked it up and I think you can, but it's kind of clunky. But there's a company that was like a startup called Sol, S-O-L. And they got funded. And I'm on the waiting list now, but they have created like VR goggles, but much smaller, much thinner. They're essentially like glasses that you put on, and it's like a Kindle, but in glasses. And you have a little clicker to flip the pages, and you can just lay any which way you want. And the glasses flush to your face. They're very thin and supposed to be very comfortable, and I can just read like this right in my own eyes.
And you know they're tracking that shit, by the way.
Oh my God.
Also, that doesn't shock me. I mean, VR can do all kinds of things, so I'm surprised that this is a new thing, honestly.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah,
like
but-
maybe it was a new thing a while back and now they're perfecting it, maybe.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I think that like you could read in VR goggles, like you could connect your Kindle. You know, there were some VR goggles like years ago where you just stuck your phone in a goggle. And so anything that was on your phone, it just kind of like made it wrapped around it. Now they're different, but I do know that like it is possible, but it's not as
seamless.
It's not as seamless. And so these glasses / goggles, they really look like glasses, are only for reading. There's nothing else you can do with them.
It's the new Kindle.
It's the new Kindle. It's a
Have you ever
glasses
done
Kindle.
VR? Put on VR headset?
Years ago, and I would love to do it today, like the new updated one. I haven't, and I would love to.
For what? What would you do on
I would want to play games. I would want to play
Okay.
I would want to do like a snowboarding game or
Yeah, that's cool.
oh my God.
Like I like
tennis.
simple video games like that would be cool.
Yeah.
Also, the only time I put one on, I did like a bar fight game where you could punch
Cool.
Was
people.
that at Michael's parents' house with
Yeah.
John's? Yeah,
Yeah.
it was weird. Everybody's like punching in the air, and it's weird.
And then the
You're like,
roller
okay.
coaster.
I
Yeah, I
never
did
did
a
that
roller
one.
coaster too. Yeah.
I think it'd be really
And
cool.
that was a
problem-
while ago.
I think it'd be super cool. And I also think it would be cool to have VR. They're just like so outrageously expensive. You know, that to me is like a frivolous purchase. You know what I mean? Like
You don't
need them. It's
I
a
should we
prefer-
all name our frivolous purchases?
Yeah. What would be your frivolous purchase?
Well, I mean, I make plenty all the time. I mean, not plenty expensive wise.
like 90%.
I mean expensive wise, not like a $10 mug from Amazon. I mean like something that you today wouldn't purchase because it's so expensive and unnecessary. But if you got 10 grand tomorrow, you would purchase it. What would it be?
10 grand's not enough.
Okay,
oh yeah, it's not enough for me either. I need
Okay,
100 grand.
fine, 100 grand. Wow, really?
A golden passport.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah. You can go anywhere.
Okay.
Explain that again. Explain that again. Did you explain that on here? You can go
No.
anywhere?
I'm not ready to explain it.
Okay.
I mean, I am, but I'm going to not say it exactly right. So
To be
hold off,
continued.
guys. Yeah.
To be continued.
It's something about entry to many places, not just entry, but ability to
Stay there for a while.
to reside there.
Oh, to live.
It's like
That's huge.
it's
Wow.
like
Nope. To be continued.
Yeah,
be
to be continued.
continued.
Don't
What is
mansplain
yours?
hers.
I need a lot of money.
Okay, what would
Well,
it?
I want a Shelby Cobra. And
Okay,
the-
how much
the
is
la-
that?
Wow.
the la- I think the
700,000?
last one went to auction at like Bear Jackson for like $3 million or some shit.
What?
Yeah, because there's a lot of kit cars, but there's
Shelby
only like
Cobra.
a few
Isn't
actual.
that in Fast and the Furious?
No.
It's
Carol-
in
Carol-
Le Mans, with
Yeah,
Christian.
Well, Ford
or-
versus Ferrari has
That's it, yeah.
Carol Shelby,
Got
who
it.
built the Shelby Cobra, which was he got bodies from like Europe and built the chassis, and Ford built the motors, and they're very unique cars, and people have replicated them, but the actual ones built by Shelby are extremely rare, and no one sells them. So,
You have to keep the microphone close to your mouth when you're talking.
anyways, it's a really cool little sports car, and I'd love to have one.
What color? Forest green.
Anyone it comes in.
Okay. Margot, what's yours?
Probably white with a blue stripe.
Okay. What's your purchase?
I mean, you guys went like big with yours.
That's fine. You don't have to go big. Obviously, you can, because none of this is happening.
She's all VR goggles.
I was gonna say that, but I guess that's pretty small. But like, yeah, I would love VR goggles. I would like a horse.
Okay.
I'd like a horse and like to have his monthly fees at a barn paid for like 10 years. And if I'm going to go smaller, I would like a really
like
nice
a hamster.
No, I'd like a really nice desktop computer setup, like a nice desktop Mac with multiple screens for when I'm editing. And it's not like I love my laptop, but sometimes I am like, oh my God, editing for hours. I'm saying like a lot. You're right. It's
but that's not like a crazy purchase. So we're talking about stuff we
I
just
mean, like
want.
a really nice.
I know,
You
but
went from
you're buying,
horse
like,
is also horse is not as much as a Shelby Cobra
Not
or
even-
a Golden Passport.
Not even close.
But that would be like what she just said is like me being like, I'd like the best hooked up work truck in the world.
Okay. Well, Mark, some of us
Yeah, but I like
don't have a
mine.
lot of money.
Well, and I also like
No, then do I.
but I like what I'm doing, and I could do it better with like a really cool big setup. It would be more comfortable and
You're
more
gonna have
fun.
to cut some of this. We're over talking this.
Yeah,
no
we
one
are.
cares about this shit.
That's
They
true.
care about our answers
True.
if they care about it.
Let's stop talking about it. Yeah, good
Move on.
point.
Move
Good
on.
point.
Move on.
Okay, so back to the mansplaining. So Zeka said, and that was weeks ago. AirTag, you mansplained it unknowingly. He did give you that, but then. In the most recent episode, I can't remember the context, but we were talking about hot air balloons.
Correct the mundo.
And you made a comment that hot air balloons can't operate in very hot temperatures. And I did not know that. I didn't understand it. And I just listened to this episode. You started explaining it. And I said, I still don't fully understand it, but I'm going to pretend like I do so we can move on. And we did. So I have a better explanation of it. But Zeka sent a really funny message. And he said, Mansplain Mark strikes again. And he said, with accurate insight, he said, this may be easier to understand than what I found online, but he said hot air balloons work off the basic principle that hot air rises. If you put a thermometer on your floor and one on the ceiling, the one on the ceiling will always be hotter. Ideally, hot air balloons operate best between 55 and 85 degree weather, and the less humid, the better. In order for a balloon to rise, the air inside needs to be hotter than the ambient air outside. And he said at the end, also don't take the mansplain Mark in a derogatory way. He's actually kind of growing on me.
Yeah.
So
You've taken a bunch of hot air balloon rides.
Not
Or
a bunch.
two?
I've taken one.
One or two?
One.
Uno?
And also, well, no, I won't go there. I want to talk about the cake when I got down from the balloon, but that's not it.
What
also,
cake?
It doesn't matter. We'll talk about it later. That all makes sense, is what I was going to say.
But another thing that I said
Like-
is all hot air balloons, when you take a ride on them, it's a race.
oh,
Like
that's
you're
right.
a
And I don't-
passenger in
there
a
was
race
some-
car, a race
yes,
balloon.
a
and then-
competition.
Yeah,
Really?
they're
I
all
don't
trying
know.
to do something.
I don't know. I can't say all of them were, but it was. And also, I was thinking we had to arrive. It was winter or fall when Michael
Super
took me on
early.
one. It was still dark when we arrived.
Oh, I remember you saying.
So that makes sense.
When the air is cool.
Also, I know that hot air ride. I'm not shitting on you. I'm just saying, like, those are basic facts, but I think they're not often applied to the logic of a hot air balloon.
Right.
Because there's also the thing.
Yep.
yeah, it's
So-
pumping heat.
Yeah.
What I found.
Why do
to
you
just-
think? Hold on, I want to say, why do you think you never see a hot air balloon? Like when you go to ride, like it's never in June in Arizona,
That's right.
because you'd have to, like, the balloon would have to be on fire for
Well,
you to
the
raise.
hot air balloon festival in Albuquerque, that's true. It was because I was driving. Well, it was October. It was in October when I was driving here,
And I
moving
bet
here.
When the
they
air starts-
lifted off before sunrise.
But I did probably because I saw them in the air when I was leaving Albuquerque to come here, and it was like 7 or 8 a.m.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And they were already in there.
Right. So, just leading off of what Zeka said, the effectiveness of a hot air balloon is dependent on the temperature differential inside and outside. Flying a hot air balloon in extremely high temperatures can actually pose safety risks because it puts a strain on the fabric part of the balloon, and it can make the inside of the air of the balloon less stable. It also, extremely hot air makes it difficult to achieve a desirable altitude, all the things. So I think we get the idea, basically.
Actually, it's interesting because we just recently went to the ski lift. I know this seems unrelated. It is unrelated, but I had been there many years ago. This, the Oktoberfest ski lift where I'm not skiing.
I had such a good time.
But it was like extra, whoa, coming down. Like I was like, I don't remember it being this high up. And now I'm thinking about, I want to go on another hot air balloon because that was 13 years ago. Maybe I went on one. Oh my God, it was crazy. But also I'm older now and things are scarier now.
They are scarier now. That's such an interesting statement because I feel like things are scarier now in that.
Because of the AirTags?
No.
Well, that, if they're involved, totally.
But
just, I don't know. Sometimes things like I used to go on a skateboard here and there, not because I'm good at it, but I'd still go, but I'd be scared.
Well, it's because once you, I think what really happens is you get older.
Mansplain it to us.
For me, what it is I'm like, yeah, I'll go ride that dirt bike. I don't give a shit if I break my leg. I'm like, oh shit, it's going to cost me a lot if I break my leg.
Or your leg's going to break a whole lot easier than it did 20 years ago.
And it's not going to heal.
And also, you broke a lot of crap back then, so think about now.
I broke a lot of bones.
Think
when I was
about
17.
now.
Like,
see, and I don't think that, but like I was thinking, maybe I said this to Jen, I can't remember, but I was thinking about being in Belize and like jumping off of a boat, not even jumping, just kind of like plopping into the water off of a boat in the middle of the ocean to snorkel. And I got immediate like nervous stomach.
You didn't say that to me.
I got immediate nervous stomach, and I've done it not a million. I've done it a ton of times, and I love doing it. I love snorkeling so much.
But now you're thinking,
but I do get a little. I think I do initially get a little nervous stomach. I don't know why.
About a shark or about harm? Like just
about
jumping
the unknown.
wrong.
No, just about the unknown of what's below the surface.
Oh, well, they're right out there, and there's a lot of weird shit out there.
What she's talking about is sharks.
No, I'm not just talking about.
What else are you scared about in the ocean?
There's a million scary things in the ocean.
Should we let the dog in?
Yeah, we should. So the next question that I have, I don't even think I finished this thought that I meant to at the beginning of this, that without Jenna, we had no one writing down questions. So I had to go back through and listen to the episodes. I listen to them when I'm editing them, obviously. But I had to, on my walk with Henry the other day, like re-listen to find questions. So next time or whenever in the future you do this, we're going to need to write them down because it's super helpful when Jenna does that.
Can I give a suggestion? Since we're in the Southwest, can we call it the Pregunta lookup list?
That is not... Well, why? Because we're in the Southwest and Spanish is a prevalently spoken language?
Yes, I kind of like it.
But didn't you used to call her that?
Yeah, but also we're not doing a lot of those right now, like the actual lookup list.
Right, we're doing just kind of a bunch of random stuff.
How do we... I'm going to look that up. I'm going to look up something about preguntas.
So the next question that I have is, I did some wine trivia at the beginning of this last episode. And one of the things that I love wine. I'm drinking wine right now. I had never looked into this. And so the question I wrote down is, do the grapes used to make different varieties of wine have the same name as the actual variety of wine?
I don't think so, but I don't know.
So I didn't know either. So I have a multi-tier answer to that.
Let's hear it.
Okay. So the first answer is no. The grapes used to make different varieties of wine often have different names from the actual variety of wine. Wine is sometimes named after the grape variety. It is often named after the region where the grapes are grown, or a combination of both. So Chardonnay is an example of yes. the grape that makes Chardonnay is called Chardonnay grapes. Chardonnay
Yum.
grapes make Chardonnay.
I hear you.
Cabernet Sauvignon, those are what the grapes are called, and that's the wine that they make. Pinot Noir is a grape variety, and the wines made from Pinot Noir grapes are generally called Pinot Noir.
But didn't you just say the names of the grapes aren't the same?
Not
often?
always. Not
okay,
always.
Yeah.
And the fourth one that I have is Merlot, which is one of my favorite types of red. And Merlot grapes make Merlot wine. But there are many, many more wine blends and regions that have their own unique names. So Bordeaux is a famous wine region in France that produces red wines that uses a blend of grape varieties, Cabernet, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, and others. So Bordeaux wines are not named after the grape.
Like Sauvignon Blanc.
That's right. Sauvignon Blanc is my favorite wine, and it gets its name from the French word Sauvignon and Blanc. Sauvignon is derived from the French word, oh, Henry just dropped a bone, from the French word sauvage, which means wild, and Blanc means white. So Sauvignon Blanc reflects that the grapes are wild and white. They produce white wine. Champagne is called champagne because...
The bubbles.
It's from the Champagne region of France, which
Yes.
I drove through, and they
Correct.
had big, as you enter in, I don't know if it's like right on the border, but life size, bigger than not life size corks, like huge corks, two stacked on top of each other.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Like the Boondocks?
Yes, but bigger
Oh,
champagne
oh,
corks.
cool.
From a big ass bottle of wine.
Extra big.
Champagne.
Oh, champagne.
So another one, so I looked up my favorite wines. There's Sauvignon Blanc, Tempranillo, and Pinot Grigio. So Tempranillo is red wine. It's one of the few red wines I really
From
like.
Spain?
It is.
Yeah.
It's a Spanish wine, and it uses grapes from the Rioja and Ribera del Duero regions. The name Tempranillo is derived from the Spanish word temprano, which means early.
Little early? Neo? I don't know.
I think you're
LL?
right. I think you're
Something?
right. Yeah. And it reflects that the grapes characteristic, they ripen relatively early in the season. Yeah, that's right. A little bit early in the season. Yeah. They're known for producing Tempranillo wines, have like a wide range of flavors and whatnot. And then Pinot Grigio is the last one of my favorites it's derived from the French word Pinot and Grigio. Pinot is a term used for various grape varieties within the Pinot family, and Grigio is an Italian word for gray because the grapes used to make Pinot Grigio are a grayish blue color. So basically the overall message of all of that, I love wine, so that's all fascinating to me. But is that wine, the variety of wine names come from many different things. Sometimes it's the name of the grapes. Sometimes it's the region. Sometimes it's something totally different.
If we have any sommeliers listening,
Ooh.
they're all, oh, duh.
They're like, this is painful to listen to. Okay.
Do
That's
you guys
it.
want to get your dogs in order?
Yeah,
I
I'm
know.
gonna
They are
take 'em out.
really
Oh,
being
yeah.
To
And Mark's
pasture.
just all looking for a reason to go out.
Yeah, take the dogs out. I'm going to talk about, these next, okay. Well, he won't care about this one. So I'm going to say, one of the questions I wrote down that I said in the episode, I was talking about Lauren, the roommate that survived.
I don't know because I wasn't on the episode.
I know.
Okay.
And I was talking about where was she from? There was some confusion. And again, there's not a lot of information out there about her, but apparently she was from around Napa. Lauren, the one who survived. Remember, I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know where she was from. That's
She's
the most
from
I could
in
find.
and around Napa.
In and around Napa, yeah. So the next question I had was, you had asked, because we talked about Halloween, you had asked, what's the world record for pumpkin chucking? Right?
Who asked that,
Yeah.
Mark?
Mark had.
Yeah.
What
Have
do
you
you
ever
mean?
seen that?
Just throwing big pumpkins?
Yeah, they have like air cannons or like.
Which
The
also means like the
catapult, you know?
biggest, some of the bigger pumpkins.
No, it's just
grown?
like average sized pumpkins. They
Oh,
just
okay.
like shove them in cannons.
How
like,
far
shoot
does it go and
or-
Yes.
stuff? Okay.
That's it. So this is a whole thing. I went down like a rabbit hole of this.
I know it's a whole thing. That's why I brought
It's
it up.
not actually called pumpkin chucking. It's called pumpkin chunkin'.
Yeah.
There's like
I've
a
heard that.
world
Yeah.
pumpkin chunkin'.
Let's keep it
Pumpkin chunkin'.
tight,
So-
though.
Pumpkin.
Keep it
I
tight,
found
people.
2 answers. The Guinness World Record shot is held by a pneumatic cannon dubbed Big 10-inch, and it launched a pumpkin 5,545 feet on September 9th, 2010 in Moab, Utah.
That's a fucking distance.
Yeah, and so that was the Guinness World Record, apparently. But there is a World Championship Pumpkin Chunkin' on Route 66 in Veneta, Oklahoma. And I guess it's somewhere different, I think, every year. But it is like a world thing.
Yeah, people come from all
It's
all
like
over
a
the place.
big
Do they use like
thing.
one of those big things?
Like a catapult
Yeah,
or like
catapult.
a trebuchet.
Yep.
They use all kinds of different
Contraptions.
contraptions. It is very fascinating to me. There's a whole website. Maybe I'll include it in the notes because it's too much to get into, but it's like it's a
Good
big
old wholesome
deal.
fun.
It's a big deal. I did not realize that. I think I had seen like a YouTube of like a cannon shooting a pumpkin or something, or somebody kind of like trying to, what is this called? Shot put or something?
Yeah, shot put.
I think I'd seen that, but I didn't realize it was a whole thing, and it is.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
To all you pumpkin fans out there.
But
Pumpkin.
several pumpkin chunkin' festivals have been canceled in recent years because people have been injured and people have filed lawsuits.
Has anyone died?
Not that I could find. Nobody had died, but several
They
people
get
have
hit
been
by a pumpkin.
pumpkin or the cannon misfires or something, and
Yeah, it's like a-
and people have been
It's like
sued.
a high pressure or like an old catapult. Like
Yeah.
there's mechanical failures.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
You know that people going
Yeah,
there
you're walking
know
into
that,
it.
right? But also like that would be me. Like I always get hit by the ball. I do.
yeah, you have the weird shit happening. It's like, so I'm
Yeah,
lucky.
that's why I'm not gonna go to tailgate anymore.
Okay, the next and last one, and then we're gonna do a couple would you rather's.
But then I have one question before a would you rather that relates to this episode that you guys recorded.
cool.
Even though I don't really know, but it does relate.
Okay. So, in the episode, I believe Leslie, one of the women who got murdered, because we've already shared that part, she moved to Napa from South Carolina because her mom was in Berkeley doing vocational training. And I believe she was training for a Unitarian church. And you had said, what's a Unitarian church? What does that mean? Right? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So, and I said, Mom always told me and me and Jenna. I don't know exactly.
Jenna and I.
Fine.
Also, you don't know what she told me.
That's why I just said. I said I don't know if she told you, but I know she told me.
She's all, don't tell your sister.
No, she had said if I were going to take you girls to church, like back when we were young children, and she was deciding like temple, church, she said I would have taken you to a Unitarian church.
Well, it was temple or Catholic church, right?
No, it's Unitarian or synagogue, right?
Right. She was saying, in her mind,
Her opinion.
John was Catholic, but he did not
He
give a
wasn't
shit.
really Catholic.
No,
No.
he wasn't Catholic
He
once
was-
we knew him.
Yes, he was atheist. He was not caring about us going to Catholic church.
So what is a Unitarian church?
Okay. Unitarianism is not a monolithic movement. The beliefs and practices vary widely among the different kind of sects of Unitarianism, but it has a strong emphasis overall on intellectual freedom, the use of reason when it comes to faith, and the rejection of dogma. So there's a ton of diversity.
Sounds great.
Yes, it rejects the traditional Christian doctrine of the Holy Trinity. And the Holy Trinity, apparently,
The Father, Son, and Holy Ghost.
right, Holy Spirit, yes.
I say ghost.
Unitarians believe in the oneness of God and the unity of his nature. And it has evolved, again, to lots of different sects. So this is the one...
I feel like we're gonna get like into Scientology, and we're gonna be like, oh,
No,
You
share
are.
your shit.
No, so Unitarian Universalism is the one that like I believe Mom probably was talking about. It's one of the most well-known and liberal branches of Unitarianism. it affirms a wide range of beliefs, welcomes people of various religious backgrounds that emphasize the worth and dignity that every individual has, social justice, environmental activism. It's kind of an all-encompassing, like any come one,
so
come
it's
all.
just a bunch of people hanging out.
Yes, and with a focus on intellectual freedom and learning about different beliefs. There is Christian Unitarianism. Christian Unitarians reject traditional Christian doctrine, but still identify as Christian. They believe that Jesus was a human prophet, but they do not believe in the divine Son of God. I don't really know what that means.
Well, because like in history, it's kind of proven that Jesus Christ, like the person, existed, you know? It's not... There's documents. He was there. It happened. Whether
neither of us are going to comment on this.
I know, but whether he was divine is the question, you know? Like that dude definitely was around.
And by divine, you mean
caused
like
trouble.
magical?
Yeah, like, you know,
Because
water to
I
wine,
don't believe that.
All that business.
Clearly. I'm sorry.
Also, Unitarian. How do you say it?
Unitarianism.
Unitarianism. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm just
That's
going to
okay.
say this one. No, I'm saying sorry to him.
I don't care. I'm
Sounds
here.
like
The scab.
The little bit I know about being like Quakerism, that's probably wrong. It sounds like a Quaker. Also, what's the religion where you don't, agnostic, where you believe in something but you don't know what it is?
You believe in
that's
everything.
different.
Yeah, agnostic.
Okay. But I think Unitarianism sounds like Quakerism.
I actually don't know.
Period. End.
I don't know what
it on
Quakerism
the
is, but
lookup
when I
list.
hear that, I think of Maggie from 6 Feet Under, who dated Nate, and she was with him when he had his AVM incident.
What?
I know you're not there in 6 Feet Under yet, so I can't tell you.
Let's not go on about it. I'm
a
there,
Quaker-
but
a
a lot of
Quakerism?
listeners probably aren't.
Basically, there's about 7 or 8 more different types of Unitarianism.
I
I'm
think we
not
have
going
enough.
to read them all. I'm just going to say that
Everybody's
I think
cool and they're talking about religion, but they believe in like a God, but not too specific. Sounds
They're not
great.
a monolithic, so they don't believe in just one God.
There we go.
right.
Is
Start
that
with it.
correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what I took away, you guys.
And I'm sure we'll get comments on this. So send your comments. Let us
Well,
know what we said
of
wrong.
course,
I'd like to learn
There
more
is
about
no
it.
wrong. We don't know, so you're looking it up. We're commenting on what we know. There is no wrong.
I like that. There is no wrong.
I'm sure people will think there's a wrong, and also
Well, I
we're
automatically
not religious people.
We are not.
You and I, at least. I can't speak for Mark.
No, yeah, me and
Oh,
John
come
are.
on.
Well,
You
I
were
didn't
raised
wanna
religious.
Speak for you.
I was raised religious and I'm not anymore.
Okay,
Okay.
but you know maybe more about certain religious beliefs.
Oh yeah, I grew up like Sunday school, Bible. I know
Catholicism?
all that stuff. No, Christianity.
Ooh,
But my dad was Catholic.
I don't know why that.
I know it's all.
I support you all.
But I went to Catholic church when I was really little, and then switched over to Christianity. And yeah, there's a lot of good morals in the book and all that stuff. But
You don't have to be.
there's a lot of bullshit too.
Okay. I was going to
Yeah,
say,
just-
you can be honest.
Yep.
I am.
Okay. Are you?
I believe you live and you die, and that's about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's understandable.
That's cut and dry. Should we move into some would you rathers?
Let's do it.
Yeah, can you let the dog in? The barking's annoying.
Why do I have to do it?
Yeah. That is the end of part 1 of this bonus episode. We ended up talking for so incredibly long that we had to break this bonus episode up into 2 different bonus episodes. How many times did I just say bonus episode? So that was part 1. We will have part 2 out for you next week. And don't forget that tomorrow, the final part of the Napa Valley Halloween Murders comes out, part 3. And if you want to listen to this entire bonus episode unedited, you can head over to our Patreon. And that's it. Thank you guys for listening. Bye.
Death by Southwest is hosted by Jenna Schneider and Margot Carmichael.
Executive produced by Margot Carmichael.
Produced by Jenna Schneider.
Audio editing and sound design by Margot Carmichael.
Music by Soundstripe.
And a special thanks to Edward R. Murrow for letting us borrow his famous sign-off phrase, good night and good luck.